Red Dead Redemption, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft. What do these massively popular game franchises all have in common? Well, they're all games I play with my kids, but beyond that, these are all open world games where players can go anywhere, do anything, and really create an experience that's all their own. Now, admittedly, it's harder to make a game this way, but when you get it right, these games are highly replayable and they give players a strong sense of ownership. Now, some open world games, like Space MMO EVE Online, go even further and set up a world where they allow players to buy and sell in-world items at prices that they work out themselves. Right from the beginning, the EVE team made a conscious decision to set up an open gaming world and then let the players work out how to run their economy. This is a high-risk, high-reward design philosophy that, in EVE's case, led to unparalleled player retention. So how exactly does this work? Well, let's listen to CCP CEO Hilmar Pétursson explain how EVE responds to and supports emergent economies.
Most free-to-play games are single-player progression games with very little open trading involved. There are very few games that have open trading systems. You can usually look at really any multiplayer game. Is there an open ability for people to trade on a marketplace where nobody really manages anything? It's just people putting bids and asks into a matchmaking engine. We have obviously taken that very far, and we also have the benefit of the game being single shard. So it's one large economy that is the emergent property. But usually if you look at your typical free-to-play multiplayer game, there isn't really any trading involved. There's maybe limited gifting, and that is practiced to some extent. And the reason why it is like that is that it's very well understood how you monetize a single-player progression system. It's also well understood how you monetize a trading economy. You mainly do it through taxation of the trades that take place. And this is very hard to do. I can absolutely appreciate that sometimes people just take the easier, simpler way and just do it as a single player progression with time accelerant monetization. We have sometimes even resorted to some of that. It's one of the tools you have in your toolbox, but there is so much more. I think the beauty of EVE Online comes from the fact that it is an emergent economy created by players where they can freely trade amongst each other through fairly robust systems we have provided. There is actually a huge challenge with creating gaming economies. We live on Earth. Earth has certain topology, certain distribution of resources. It has cost to acquire those resources, cost to refine them, cost to assemble them, etc. And often when you think of game economies, you often get economists to think about how to make game economies. But the first step is usually forgotten. It's like, how do you create nature? Because first you have to create the nature of your world. What are the resources of them? Why are they there? What's the story of them being there? And what is all that poetry underneath? So you actually don't create a game economy. You create the foundations underneath, and then you get players into those foundations, and they create the economy. So often people start by creating an economy, but an economy is an emergent function of social behaviors of humans interacting, and it's theirs. So you need to first create nature and then mostly let it go. When you try to create an economy, you've created a static construct that nobody really owns or loves and isn't theirs. They are just a rat in a maze that you have already thought everything through. And the magic happens when you really focus on creating the nature underneath, or the digital physics, which is also a good word for it, and then allow the players to create the emergent property that is the economy on top of it.
Emergent game economies work because they parallel how real economies develop in the physical world. If you want to understand why countries go to war with each other, take a closer look at the geographic distribution of resources like gas, minerals, and water. Like any real economy, game economies can easily spiral out of control. That's why any company running a massively multiplayer online game world needs to constantly monitor and tune the systems governing that world. And if you want to learn more about the fascinating world of systems design, check out our Systems Thinking for Product Leaders playlist. I'll leave a link in the comments. And to stay up to date on advice from experts like Hilmar, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. Let's get smarter together. I'll see you next week.